All right. Hey guys, I'm really excited about tonight's Zoom. We haven't done one like this before, so just bear with us a little bit. It might be a little bit scattered. So most of you guys know that we had you submit anonymous questions through a survey. And some of your leaders are going to jump on here. We're going to kind of just bounce around and answer some of these questions. So I'm just going to go through the questions. We haven't prepared for this Zoom, so it's going to be very just like raw and real answers for you guys. So it might just take a second for someone to speak up. So again, just bear with us a little bit. We'll go through these. We didn't get a ton of questions, like maybe 10. So if you guys come up with other questions throughout this training, just throw them in the chat and we'll get to as many as we can. It probably only be like 30 minutes or so. And then whenever we're done with questions, we will just put some tasks in the chat and we'll just work together and get some host to post up or whatever. So that all being said, leaders, diamonds and up, even rubies and up, if you guys have something that you want to share, you should just be able to unmute yourself. Or if someone else is talking and you want to add something, just message in the chat so that way we know and we don't move on. All right, so we're just gonna dive right in. Okay, so let's talk first. We had a couple questions about self-development, like what you do for self-development, what you listen to, what you watch or read for self-development. So what we can have is if anyone wants to unmute and share their favorite things, we can do that. And then anyone else, you guys can also throw some things in the chat too. So I'm gonna be quiet for a second and let someone else speak if they want to.
I'll say something.
Yes, do.
Okay. I love for free stuff. I think if you download the Audible app, your first book is free. So I have lots of recommendations for Audible, but like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I should just list them out. Maybe I'll put them in the chat. But there's lots of self-development books on Audible you can listen to. And I think there's even some free books on YouTube, just like the audio is recorded. I know I listened to something about miracle morning routines on YouTube, but then the Pam Souter podcast is great. Bob Heilig's My Virtual Upline is great. Let's see. Anything on YouTube, honestly. Like if you find some leaders that you like to follow, on YouTube, I really like Cheyenne Knox, Jade Hooper, Kelsey Thornton. They all have really like lots of content on their YouTube pages. Carrie Young, yes, she's good. Let's see, in the comments we're saying Miracle Morning. The Secret is on YouTube, yes. Yes, Virtual Upline is amazing. Rhinoceros Success, that's a really fun book. It's really short, and it's only, if you have the Audible app, it's only like $2.99. If you do pay for it, it's super inexpensive because it is short. Beach Money is good. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Lots of good stuff.
So good. And one of the tips that I loved that Amber Parker, I think, shared with our team a while back is even if you can't be 100% focused on the podcast or the Audible book that you've got, play it anyways. Because if you're truly waiting for a time where you're just totally like sitting, staring at a wall to listen to something, that time's not going to come. It's still better to hear 10% of a podcast than it is to hear 0% of it. Just know that more of it's going to stick than you realize. And yes, it is important to listen to personal development and actually focus on what you're listening to or reading or watching. But you can have things going on through most of your day. Like most of us are home right now, but even on a regular schedule, when you're driving somewhere on your lunch break, if you can have like headphones on while you're at your job or whatever, as much as you can fill your brain with like videos. And there's different types of development. So like some of the things that Katie listed, they're like personal development and confidence building, and there's leadership building, and then there's professional development. That's like getting on trainings, and there's all different types of personal development. It could be spiritual development. So you kind of need a little bit of everything. If you only focus on like training, like if you only watch host to post training, you might be great at host to post, but if you don't have the mindset to go with the business, then all the training that you're doing is not nearly as effective as if you have the mindset for the business like this. So just keep it in mind. You can go to pamsouter.com. You can have the podcast app, but for those of you that are like, I don't even know how to do any of this, just start by going to YouTube and pamsouter.com. You can listen to her podcast right from there. And honestly, like, I learned so much of my business through YouTube when I got started because we didn't have team pages. Zoom didn't exist. And so YouTube was like the only thing we had. And like Katie said, like I just found a couple leaders that I liked and I followed them. And every time they posted a new video, I would just go watch. And it was like their team Zoom, but I would just go watch the recording. So anyways, you guys can check the chat for all of the personal development ideas. There's so many good things. Journaling, for those of you who like to journal, journaling's a great personal development. There's tons of journals out there that have prompts and stuff. And you can look on Pinterest for journaling ideas. So much, but it truly is necessary, which is why I wanted to start with that question. I don't know if anyone else.
I like that too because I feel like.
Sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say, I feel like self-development is something that a lot of people brush over, especially if you've never done any of that before. It seems like, well, I don't need that. That's not like making me money. It's not signing me customers. But like, I didn't do really much self-development. I did trainings and stuff, but the true like podcast about growing your mind and the stuff thinking about money and just the true self-development stuff, personal development, it's going to change your life. So don't just brush that over. Just start with like 15 minutes a day, and I promise it will make a difference.
I agree with Katie, especially like all the moms on here. I mean, how many times are we told, you know, if you're having a bad day with the kids or a bad week, like how many times are we told you need to take 5 minutes for yourself? Like tell your husband, like go take a bath, like a slow bath, or go take a shower, just be by yourself for 15 minutes. It's the same kind of thing with this business. I mean, with anything, sometimes we can get stressed. Sometimes we can get worked up. And if we're worrying about, you know, everybody else on our team and our sideline sisters and who are helping out, I mean, it's okay to step back and do something for yourself. And I think that was one thing that I had to learn was I felt guilty for wanting to step away for maybe an hour to go work out, because that's like a huge thing for me. That's like my major personal development. And so I had to tell myself, like, it's okay to take a half an hour to set my phone down. And like something Tiffany told us when we first started was every time her phone was about to die, that time it would charge, that was her time away to step away from her phone. So that was whether it was to get laundry done or stuff done, or that was her time to do her personal development too. And something else I learned is find somebody, whether they're on your team or a sideline sister, that likes to do stuff similar personal development with you, because it's a little bit more fun to listen to podcasts. Or like Sarah, she listens to it was something we did a while ago. Sarah, what's that pastor you listen to? Is that huge series we watched it a while ago?
Church.
Crazy Faith.
Yes,
so good.
Yes. So at one point we woke up every morning and a group of us listened to that every morning, or then we ended up picking like certain times during the week, like certain days. And it was really cool because one, you're held accountable to do something nice for yourself, but two, it was afterwards we got to discuss things, and you got to like relate to other people that was in that little group, or however you guys want to do it. So don't be afraid to reach out to somebody and be like, hey, do you like this? Do you want to do this with me? So I mean, guys, look at how many people are on here. You have a plethora of people to go to do stuff like this with. So
I just want to add, everyone that's in the chat and like most of you guys that are contributing are your diamonds and above, or your people on the way to diamond. So like, if you want to go diamond or above, you know, part of that is doing what the diamonds and above are telling you they did or wish they would have done more of on their way to diamond. Because I wish I would have done way more personal development earlier on in my business, and I think everyone would agree. So what really sticks with me is when we did that Zoom. When we did that Zoom a couple weeks ago with all of our new rubies, I remember Lauren Oppel saying, I just finally started doing the things that our leaders said that they were doing to be successful. And so it's the same with personal development, like, and Host to Post and all those things. Like, we're not just telling you to like go waste your time reading a book. Like, it's because it helps develop you into the person that can make the kind of money that you want to make. So that's the point of personal development. Okay, so I'm sure you guys will keep sharing things in the chat as you come up with them. Just one other quick tip for personal development. If you do have Audible, I have like an Alexa in our kitchen. And so whenever my phone dies, I plug my phone in, and then Alexa is linked to Audible, so I can listen to whatever book I have on Audible on my Alexa. So I do that when I'm in the kitchen or feeding Jax or making dinner or whatever. I always have my book playing through there. So just a little side note. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. So this everyone's going to probably have something a little bit different, but people wanted to know, like, what do I do when I sign a distributor? Like, what are the steps that I need to follow? How do I launch a new distributor? And my answer has changed every year for like 8 years. So I'll just briefly talk, and you guys can throw things out there that you've done or that's working for you. But I think we're always looking for the perfect way to launch a distributor, the thing that's going to work for every single person out there. And the truth is, I could treat 100 distributors the exact same way, give them everything that they need. I could add them to all the pages, tag them in things, send them videos. And some people are going to go and some people are not. Some people are going to sprint and some people are going to walk. Like, there is no perfect format for launching a new distributor. So we can all just kind of share what we do and different things that we've tried, and you guys can kind of figure out what works for you. My goal when I sign a distributor is to let them know, hey, I'm here for you 100%. I want to see you succeed, but you've got to come to me with questions, that you've got to blow up my phone. I need to hear from you if you want to be successful. I let people know that right off the bat. I want to know that if that person chooses to walk away in a couple of weeks, I know that they had my full attention if they wanted it. I know that they had access to an amazing team page if they wanted it. I know that they had access to the Connect app if they wanted it. You know, we have so many tools and resources out there. So my goal is just to know that they knew I was 100% there for them. So however you want to go about a new distributor launch, you just need to keep that in mind, I think, is that if people decide not to stick with the business, did they know that you were there to help them? And so that's my goal, no matter how I launch them. I have been using the 7-day launch page. We have that in place so that you guys can walk a new distributor through what they need to do. It's broken up into daily increments, 1 post a day for 7 days. But something new that I'm trying, and I'm going to be sharing it on our Success Squad page, is a 10-day, it's a little bit more personal because these ones I will be texting to the new distributor. It's kind of the same idea as a page, except for I find that sometimes with the launch page, people just aren't in a routine of working this business, or they're not self-disciplined, or life gets in the way, or they get overwhelmed, whatever it is. This just is a little bit more like hand-holding, like truly walking them through what to do each day for 10 days. It's still really, really simple. And then by the end of the 10 days, they know all of the major things we do to build our business. They know personal development, they know Host to Post, they know how to message people. And so I'll be sharing, I have a whole document already with those. And I put them in my word board for those of you that have word board or something similar. And so when I sign a new distributor, I can truly just day 1, day 2. And so I'm doing that now with my new distributor. It's going really well. And I'm just tweaking it to her a little bit if I need to. So I'll be sharing that too. So I'm going to let if anyone else wants to chat, you guys feel free to share. But that's my 2 cents.
I have 2 things, just aside from all of the training. 2 of the main things that I suggest doing is, number 1, getting their why, whether that is something that they write down for you, or maybe have them, videotape a minute self video of why they joined. This is for you and for them. Like, it is important for you as their sponsor to know why they need this, but it's also important for them to actually vocalize that out loud or actually write it down and dig deep, because that why is what is going to be like the glue that keeps them like here when, you know, they start getting those no's or when they start getting discouraged. And if you know that why, you can throw that back and say, well, don't you remember this is what we're working for? We're working to get you home. We're working to pay off this debt. We're working to pay off $5,323.72. Like, when you know exactly what their why is to the penny, then you can help them better reach those goals. So number one, make sure you get their why. Number two, find out how they are motivated. It kind of goes back to the whole color, you know, knowing your colors, yellow, blue, red, green. Like, find out, are they someone that needs to know every single thing? And if they are, that's when one of the first things you need to do is direct them to the document section in eSuite and help show them where they can find all the documents and where they can find the ingredients and all this other stuff. Are they someone who, you know, are they a blue? Are they someone that thrives on parties? If so, let's get an online Facebook party like set up for them. Are they someone who is very competitive? Then that's when you want to tell them about their shopping spree and everything else that they're going to get as soon as they get their first 6 customers. Are they someone that, like a yellow, that thrives on recognition? If so, they may need, I don't want to say a little bit of hand holding, because not all yellows need a little bit of hand holding, but they may need a little bit more TLC and acknowledgement when they do get that post up or they send that certain message. They want that recognition and just that TLC. So just knowing your distributors just knowing them full-heartedly and knowing their why, you will be able to help them succeed. Because like Alyssa said, we have training all the way across the board, all types of different training that from a 7-day launch to the 15-day launch to the other stuff she's about to put in there to the corporate side. I mean, you name it, we have ways to train your distributor, but that isn't going to help them if you don't know their heart and you don't know why they need this and get on a personal level, because people will see the friends before they see the finances, and they need to know that they have you like right by their side.
I wanted to just add one thing. When you can voice message a new distributor, that's really good. I haven't been super great, I'll be honest, the last month or two getting on Zoom with my newbies, but I'm getting back into that habit because I do think it's so important to get face-to-face with them. But here's my advice, because a lot of people ask me like, okay, I'm getting coffee with my new distributor, or I'm getting on Zoom with my new distributor. What do I talk about? It doesn't really matter as much as what you talk about. Like, I typically go through host to post to make sure they understand that. I talk a little bit about their goals, make sure they've logged in, just like little stuff. It's more to, number one, build a relationship with them. Number two, get them excited, let them know like you're there to support them, you want to hear from them, just reassure them that you want them to blow up your phone with questions. But then also keep it 20 to 30 minutes max. Even if it's going amazing, even if you guys hit it off, even if you like are just on a roll, I promise you, like anytime I have a new distributor training or a meeting with a potential distributor that goes longer than that, they almost always freeze because we've given them so much to think about that they don't even know where to start anymore, and they've already forgotten the first 10 minutes of what you even talked about. So try to cap yourself, and people are busy too. So if they have an hour to work that day and you take up the whole hour talking to them about what they can do to build their business, then they're going to have to start the next day. So your goal is to get them excited, give them a few tangible things that they can do so that they can jump off excited and then do the things that you talked about. So anyone else want to share on that?
I was just going to share, of course, I just closed out of it, but I just went to a thread that I have with a girl who recently joined, just to kind of, I have really bad pregnancy brain. So, I know what I do, but sometimes it helps to just kind of see the train. So when someone first joins, I add them to the training page, and typically I still have to be like, okay, let's get a list started of people. And that's usually where I start. I have them make excuse me, a list of 20 people. And as like usually within the next couple days, I tell them after they do their list of 20 people, well, I'll get to that. Okay, so I have them do their list of 20 people, and then I have a loyal customer, like a potential loyal customer message that I have them send, and then once the person responds and says yes, then I take them through, like, you guys remember, if you don't, like, it's on the team page, but I have them send like the list of like 1 through 7, like if like what would you want to improve in the next 90 days, and 1 through 7, like 1, weight loss, 2, more energy, 3, better nutrition, 4, I have it all memorized. But anyway, I literally have them dive right into conversations with potential loyal customers, and from that 1 through 7 number list, like they're asking the people from their 20 friends, they're asking them like, what would you want to improve in the next 90 days? So the person responds like 1, 3, and 7, and it's like weight loss, better nutrition, and loves coffee and wants to lose weight. Well, I have like this long, it's 2 messages in Messenger because it's too long, but I have this really long list of pretty much all of our products, just short little like couple sentences, and then I give the pricing. And so what I do is I send those 2 long lists to my new distributor, and I'm like, okay, I voice message, and I'm like, okay, don't freak out. Like, I know this is really long, but I just want to make sure that you have a list of pretty much all of our products with their prices. And like I tell them to save it, and you're going to be using this a lot. And this is honestly how most of my distributors like get their shopping sprees pretty quickly. I still do sign people that don't really do much, so it's not like this perfect little plan. But once obviously they're going to get a handful of no's, like can't afford it, can't do that now, whatever. Then I switch them to host to post. And I kind of walk them through host to post. I usually voice message about host to post. And obviously this is sometimes over the course of several days. Like some people that jump right in, we're doing this on day 1 and day 2, and that's awesome. But I sign a lot of distributors on Thursdays and Fridays for whatever reason, and I usually don't hear much from them until maybe Monday or Tuesday of the next week. So I don't want like the biggest thing to remember is when you sign a new distributor, if they are being a little bit slow to responding to you, don't think that you've done anything wrong. They're probably, I mean, they have everything else going on in their life, and this is going to be the first thing that they put on the back burner. So it's just our job to continue to be like, hey, did you get your list? Like, I just sent that to a girl. Like, how are you coming along with your list? And then once they're done with their 20, I have them go to their friends list. And I kind of tell them, like, don't prejudge people. Like, it's our job to just share what we have to offer and not look at, because lately I've been getting a lot of like, well, I have a lot of teacher friends, or like I have a lot of broke friends. And I'm like, but you have no, like, you just have no idea. You just don't. So anyway, I have them get to their friends list and kind of go about the same process with the potential loyal customer messages, switching them to a host to post, possibly switching them to a PDT, just kind of going through that conversation. And I tell them every step of the way, send me a screenshot when they reply. Again, not everyone always sends screenshots, but it's ideal to just make sure you get them sending you screenshots. And then just kind of as the days unfold, I'll start them with personal development and getting on Zooms. I agree with Alyssa, like, Zooms are really important. I know it can, I mean, I'm like a social butterfly, and I still sometimes am like, Zoom. Like, so if I'm like that, I know like pretty much everyone else is like that. But it's just something that, the thing that I'm sorry, this is really long, I promise I'll be done. But the thing that kind of smacked me in the face, like at the end of last year, is signing distributors is a responsibility. And it's our responsibility to hold those new distributors' hands. And so if you just want to sign distributors and then just kind of like leave them be, or not give them, not respond to them right away when they're new, when they're brand new, like they need to be responded to right away. And I used to be that person that was like, well, they can wait a little bit. Like, no, they have that short hour, like Alyssa said, to work. So I want to respond to people right away. But it just kind of like hit me like a ton of bricks one day. And I was like, you know what? I need to be more diligent with my new distributors. So yeah, that was just something like, yeah, okay. The end.
If you guys didn't watch that coin pusher video I shared in the team chat today, it kind of goes along with what she was saying. Like, a lot of people don't have an entrepreneur mindset. They have an employee mindset. And so by you not keeping in touch with them, they're lost. You can give them a 6 list and say, okay, do this. Like, people aren't used to having to show up for their own goals. They show up for someone else. So staying in their pocket, and none of us are perfect at this, like, but I want you guys to know that you can successfully, you could be sitting there right now as a distributor and executive. You could sign someone up tomorrow that goes diamond in 3 months. They could go diamond before you go. It doesn't matter where you're currently sitting. If you are excited about the business, if you're passionate about helping people, if you've signed 1 customer, you can help someone else sign 100 customers because you've already done it once. And if you can sign that person as a distributor, you can definitely help them sign a distributor because you've already signed one. So don't get so in your head about like, I don't know how to do a Zoom with a new distributor. Like, what am I supposed to say? You're going to say the things that you've been listening to ever since you started. And you can have your sponsor jump on with you, but don't get too in your head about like, I don't know what I'm doing. You do know what you're doing. You just signed a distributor. So you definitely know what you're doing. Sometimes you just have to fake it till you make it when it comes to confidence. And it's okay to get on there and be like, look, like, you know what, I'm not like a top money earner, but we're going to do this together and we're going to figure it out. And like, this is what I do know. And this is why I am so excited. And this has been my journey so far. Like, it's okay to also be honest with people. So, Sarah's going to put the list of products in the team chat, but it is also on the team page as well. So we can maybe bump that up so you can find it. Okay, so we're gonna move on to some other things. Okay, let's talk about, okay, so these are kind of similar, basically, and maybe Tiffany or whoever wants to answer it, but I just know that you'll have a good one. Just like, where do I find answers? Like, for the team chat, for example, like, we're not supposed to ask questions in the team chat. Like, where do I get answers for things? Where do I find information? Where do I find rules for promotions? Where do I find result photos? Like, whatever you guys want to touch on. Like, I'll let other people answer this one, but good question.
So as far as answers, one of the biggest things that I teach my team to do is on the team page, there at the very top, there's actually a search bar, and it's like an encyclopedia. You literally can type in anything there. For example, if we have BOGO cleanse, like, you can type in BOGO and it's going to bring up so many scripts, samples, pictures, stuff from, way back with previous BOGOs. And you can, anything and everything that you could even imagine, you can find on the team page by just searching a word or a keyword or two. We also have photo albums. So if you go up to the very top, you're going to see albums. You can go there, and there's before and after pictures. There's just really kind of pretty pictures as far as like not salesy pictures. There's all sorts, there's stories, there's success stories. There's so many different albums. I encourage you, if you have never seen it and you have no clue what I'm talking about, number one, leave this Zoom, and not now, but leave this Zoom like later, and go and, make yourself search for one thing so you at least know what it is, so you can train your team to do the same thing. And 2, find that photo album so that you can also create and see what kind of photo albums that we have. But Alyssa has a amazing Pinterest board that she has shared before. And I think that we can bump that probably and get that back up where y'all can see it. But there's so many different things there. It Works has a Pinterest board, y'all. Like, I mean, and it's amazing. It's before and afters. It's all sorts of awesome pictures. But you can definitely find those pictures there and most of your answers. And obviously, if not, you have eSuite. Like if for some odd reason, let's just say that one of, your distributors come to you, or you have a customer, sorry, I got sidetracked. Let's say you have a customer come to you about hair, skin, and nails, and your distributor is just a little MIA at the moment and she's not answering you back right away. That's okay. You can easily go to your website. This is what I had to do when I first joined. I would go to my website. I would pull up hair, skin, and nails. I would take that description. I'd put it in my notes section and formulate that description into a message, and then I would send that message. So you have access to all of the ingredients at your hands. Like you have all of that stuff right there on your website and in your back office under eSuite or under document section too. But if you want to try to formulate your own message and send it to your sponsor and just say, hey, I got this from the website, how does this sound? You definitely can do that too, but I'll let someone else answer now. I could keep rambling.
Something I like to do, and if any of my DTs are on, they'll probably chuckle. Like if you're looking for specific stories and you can't find them, even if you've gone on the Pinterest board and you're not quite sure exactly how to put a story together, or you're like, well, I don't know if I like that. I tell all of my distributors, take what I've posted. Like if they like a specific story that I have, I'm like literally screenshot my story and take it. So like little information like that, it's easy because you can throw that kind of story up really fast on your Instagram or your Facebook. And I tell them all the time the same thing with posts, like steal a post, just make sure you tweak that wording so it's not exactly the same, but like quick information like that. If you're not sure what to post about for a story that day, don't be afraid to look at other leader stories and to take something from there too. Like guys, a lot of the stories that I post, I didn't make those. They're either from Alyssa or from Tiffany or another leader that I follow outside of our team that I really like her content, that I will pull from that and just kind of change the picture so it's me. I don't want to post her, or like I'll just kind of cover up the wording and put my own wording on it. But that's like one of my favorite things to do when I have a little bit of downtime and I need like to spend 10-15 minutes is I just go through other leaders that I follow and that inspire me, and I go through a couple of their posts and I pull wording from their posts, or I screenshot their stories. So now I have a plethora of all these posts and all these stories. So that way I'm not necessarily going, ask Tiffany, I still message her and go, does this sound okay? Guys, that's what we're here for. So if you're still at a point where you're like, oh, I don't know what to post, just take something from somebody. I tell my team, guys, sharing is caring. Like, take it. You can take whatever you want. I tell them every day. They're like, can we take this? Can I steal this? Is it okay? I go, guys, don't tell me you're sorry for taking it. Just do it. Like it's totally fine, but it makes it fun like that too. So
I have something to say. I'm going to go a little bit in a different direction, but how I took the question was, so yeah, this stuff's awesome. Like Success Squad's awesome. I think I use the little magnifying glass thing like all day long because I don't like to scroll and I just want to get my stuff. I need it now and I want to find it. So Success Squad is awesome. Another thing though, the way that I like took the question is if you have questions and you can't find the answer, or maybe you're just like lacking a mindset thing, or there's something going on and you just need to talk to someone and maybe you don't have a sponsor anymore, or you feel you can't reach out to sponsor, you need to connect. Like you guys have all of us leaders here. And so don't be afraid to like private message, like, hey, I can't find this answer and I just not sure what to do, or, things like that. Like if there's just somebody that you see on these Zooms and they just like fire you up, don't be afraid. Like I'm sure I can speak for everybody. Sorry, I'm just like telling everyone they can message everybody, but like just like message them and be like, hey, like I need something, like I just need like your fire right now, like they're whatever. Like don't be afraid to always reach out to us for other things, even if it's not, if like it's something you can't find or more of a mindset thing, things like that. But I think I said like 50 times, but I think you know what I mean. Where where I'm going with. Information is absolutely fantastic on Success Squad. If you need something else where you're just lost, don't feel like when we say no questions that you can't ask questions like outside of that chat. It's just, we want that chat to be more of like a boom chat, because then it just gets all over the place. People lose spots and it's just like crazy. So that's what, don't be afraid to reach out. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, like this girl Sarah is like talks all the time. Like, I really want to reach out to her because she like fuels me. Like, go message her. Sorry, Sarah. She's gonna be like, oh my God, I'm inbox now. But no, seriously, like, you guys like reach out to everybody if you need that. Like, I just know from experience, I didn't have a sponsor. Like, I signed up, but she didn't work and she didn't kind of do anything. So I was kind of just like here, and I needed that like connection for somebody to kind of grab a hold of me and take me with them. And so I did. And that's why I'm where I'm at, because if I would have just sat back and was just like, okay, like, just kind of gonna do, like, the resources are awesome, but sometimes you just need that person, or you need those people to kind of help you along the way. And it might not be your sponsor, or it might not be, it could be a sideline, like, grab arms and kind of like run together.
So what Ariel was trying to say is, come link arms with me, is what she's like really trying to say. But no, I don't know if you guys heard her say something about a magnifying glass. In our chats, like if we send links and specific messages, if you guys go in our chats or even on Success Squad, you can search the conversation or search in that page. So that's another way to quickly find information too. Like, especially because sometimes when things are sent important, we're all like, oh, this is awesome, this is awesome. It can kind of get lost a little bit. So that's just a nice, easy way to find something, instead of, again, like Ariel said, like scrolling back 1,000 times. Like, just grab that magnifying glass. So
there's also in any group chat that you're in, if you click the name of the group chat at the top, you can see all of the photos from the conversation. And so I do this all the time. Like, Sarah is great about sending screenshots of conversations she had with potential distributors or potential customers. I might not save it or get to read it at that time, but I can always go back to the photos in that chat and scroll back and look to see what I missed, or who sent photos, or if people put before and afters. I mean, there's all sorts of things in the photos of our team chat. So don't forget that that's an option there. You can search chats, you can search Messenger, you can search Facebook, you can search Facebook groups. There's a lot of stuff out there. But just to kind of circle back to what Tiffany said, I do feel like I learned a lot about the products in the business because I searched for the answer. So we have so many scripts and so many things, and Pinterest boards and trainings and Zooms and YouTube, and literally any information that you want is out there. And we want you to use that stuff. But sometimes when you have a question, taking the 5 minutes to see if you can find it before asking someone does make a difference, because you will retain the information better because you either had to come up with the message or you had to find it somewhere. And why that is important is because as your team grows and your team starts coming to you, asking you about like, hey, what are the rules for this pick 2 thing? You'll know where to find rules because you'll have already gone to the eSuite and the document section. And so that will duplicate down your team, because you have to think, if I would have never taught Sarah how to find things in the eSuite, then anytime her team would ask her a question, she would have to come to me to ask me where to find the thing for the girl on her team. And that's like not great duplication, because then she'd have people like 6 layers deep that are all asking their upline, and it's going all the way back to me. So that's why you want to find out how to find the information, like even like, how does someone redeem a shopping spree? Like, there's posts on the team page, but try to find it so that way you know how to teach your team where to find things too, if that makes sense. We're not trying to be difficult when we don't give you an answer. Like when we say, hey, search this on the team page to find it, it's not because we want to give you more work. It's because we want to teach you where to find something, so that way you can teach people where to find something, because down the road, it's going to make your life so much easier. Okay. I feel like we covered that one pretty good. I appreciate you guys. That was a lot, but like, it's one of the major things you need to know is where to find stuff. Okay. So I'm not going to go through this question tonight as much as I'd love to dive into it, because we decided that on Sunday night's huddle, we are going to focus completely on how to motivate your team. So we're not going to talk about it tonight. That is like one of the most common questions, I feel like, and we got it a few times through the survey. But instead of diving into it tonight, because it would probably go like 30 minutes, we're just going to do it on Sunday. So you won't want to miss that huddle because it's going to be really good on how to motivate your distributors. So I'm going to skip over that one. Let's talk about, okay, the people that are getting lots of no's. Like the people that are like, oh, everyone I'm talking to doesn't have the money. Everyone like, doesn't want to do this. Like, I don't, my thoughts on negativity, but it is a real thing that new distributors or anyone encounters. They're having a bad week. Everyone's saying no, nobody has money, yada, yada. So let's talk about overcoming no's. Who wants to take this one? Anyone? Initial thoughts?
So, did anybody else?
You're good.
Okay. So a couple things. The first thing that pops in my head is like, lovingly, you're not talking to enough people. I find that when I'm getting like, no, I've followed up with maybe like 5 people. And it seems like a lot because you're like, oh, why is everyone saying no? But you just haven't talked to enough people. And no's are just part of being a human. You're going to hear it all day, every day, especially if you have a 2-year-old. But no, you're just definitely not talking to enough people, even though it might seem like you are. So definitely like work with your team and your sponsor on like how you can be talking to more people, because that's like a whole nother subject. And then also, I'm going to be honest, like I have really, obviously I don't love the word no, but I really don't care if someone says they can't afford it, not right now, not interested, let me look into it. Like that is kind of a form of no, or that's kind of like, where do I go with that? Post to post. Post to post, host to post, host to post. Like if we get to the point in the conversation where they either have to think about it or they have to talk to their husband, or they just flat out say they can't afford it or they're not interested or whatever, host to post. Give them a host to post. Say like I'd love to get you entered into my free giveaway that I do for my new friends every week. It's the least I can do. And then, go through that whole thing. Because my thing, and like, if you're on my team, sorry, this is a broken record, but my whole thing is that like, if Alyssa says, no, I can't order right now, I can't afford that right now, whatever, I'm going to have her host a post, and I could get 10 interested potentials, or even 5, or even 3 or 2. And I got like 3 or 4 loyal customers from one hosted post the other day, and the girl had initially said that she couldn't afford it yet. And I'm like, well, I just got 4 customers instead of 1, waiting on this 1 customer. So don't waste your conversations. Like, you had that conversation with the person, even though they can't afford it right now, whether it's the products or joining the business. And then I especially like one of my newest distributors, she did a DT host a post for me because she I can't remember why, she had to talk to her husband or something like that. And she ended up joining because I was like, girl, your friends are interested in this. Like, you should do this. So especially like PDTs, get them on doing host to post. Then when they join your business, they kind of know what that is. So that's like my biggest soapbox right now is, I don't care that they say no, because I'll have them host a post and it's okay.
So I have a really quick question just for everyone on here. If you don't mind, find your chat, put it in here. But how long did you say no for? Like, I want to know how long you said no for. I know specifically myself, I said no for 6 months. And I know that there are some unicorns on here who jumped in right away. That's awesome. But I want you to actually see this chat and see the ratio from unicorns per se to people that have to wait a couple of days, weeks, months, years. And you have to keep that in mind when you are talking to someone. If it took you weeks or months or years to sign up, then you can't get mad that it's taking someone a week to sign up or even a month. Like, you have to give them the same patience that your sponsor gave you, and realize that all people, like all flowers bloom differently. So all journeys look different and they are human. Like things happen, guys. Like this is not even, about the world where we are right now. This is 4 years ago. I got told no. Like take out what's going on right now out of your head, because if anything, like what we have our hands on, everybody wants it right now. But you're going to get the word no. And like Sarah said, you got to change your perspective of that. Like right here, right now, leave this Zoom with that completely, like a totally different perception of the word no, because no is just maybe later. That's all that it is. And like Sarah said, change it to host to post. Ask for referrals. Like, I mean, I've straight up told people, okay, that's awesome. Do you know anyone who would be interested? If you're not interested, I totally understand if you're happy with your career. Do you have someone that that looking for extra income, or do you know someone that wants to lose weight? And if they say no to that, okay, that's fine. Then that's when you can do, host to post for them. But you just have to give people grace. Like, people are human. Like this is your priority because this is your business. But I can't tell you how many times I've missed a notification on my phone because Miles is playing a game and then I just happen to miss it. So their no may not even really be a hardcore no. It just may be because they didn't see it. You think that that's an unread message, but who knows if they even actually open the message. So just give people the same grace that you were given whenever you were going through the same process. And remember all of those thoughts. I know specifically myself, I was crazy busy. I had a plate full of life. I'm shy. I'm introverted. I didn't have sales experience. Like I had all the excuses, just like everyone else does. And I was that person that was like, okay, I'm going to get on an event and learn more. And she would invite me and then I didn't get on. And that went on for 6 months. But here I am today. So the minute that you give up on someone because they're a no, or the minute that you give up on yourself, then they're gonna eventually sign up with someone else. And it would make yourself completely sick to the stomach if you looked over and this person that you could have, given a little bit more grace to signed up with someone else and just like skyrocketed because the time was right. So give that person grace.
I'll just add that sometimes, and it's kind of been talked about in the chat, but sometimes people say, I need to talk to my husband, or I'm too busy right now, or I'm too broke, or I'm too shy. Those aren't no's. Those are objections or fears that you have to help people overcome. Like I'll talk to a distributor and they'll say, I'm having trouble recruiting. Everyone's saying no. So I'll have them send me screenshots of their conversations and people are just saying, I just don't have the money right now. Okay, that's not a no though. Like you've got to switch your mentality, because if you truly feel like every single person you're talking to tells you no, like that's very defeating. But if you look at those like they're not right now, it's because that's what they are. They're telling you I don't have the money right now. And now you have a chance to help them come up with money. So you need to make sure you're walking through the objections with your sponsor or your upline. Because if someone says, I just don't think it's for me right now, and you say, okay, let me know, that person is not ever going to let you know. They are just, yes, thank you. That is my emoji for that. They are just not going to come back to you and be like, you know what? I changed my mind. I think I have more time. I'm going to do this business with you. Or like, hey, I know I thought I told you I was too shy, but I don't feel that way anymore. Like they're literally never going to say that. So you have to say, hey, I totally get it. I'm not outgoing either. Or like, here's my friend Alyssa. She's an introvert and she's very successful. You don't have to be outgoing. Like you've got to find messages and ways to combat people's excuses, because everyone has one. Like even those of you that are unicorns, I mean, minus 1 or 2 of you, and unicorn is just someone that signs up like almost on the spot. Most people don't do that. That's why it's a unicorn, because they don't even really exist. But even unicorns usually had like a tiny hang up of like, I don't really think I can do this, or I don't know if I should spend the money on this. Like everyone has something. So just keep that in mind. Like I go into a conversation with a potential distributor or potential customer that they're going to have something. Like I'm just like ready for it. I'm like, okay, what's it going to be? Are you nervous? Are you busy? Are you like, what's your thing? Like I am just ready to take that on and then move past it. So if you go into go into it kind of expecting that, you'll also change the way you talk to people. Because like when I'm talking to a potential, I try to figure out what their excuse is going to be before we even get there. So that way I can add that in my messages. Like if I know that right now they're a mom that's having to homeschool and they're a teacher and they're still working and they have a class still, like I know they're super busy. I know that's going to be their thing. So I make sure when I'm sending them info, I'm talking about how flexible this is and how really anyone can do it no matter what schedule they have, and pointing it out before we even get to the excuse. So that way you can kind of hopefully avoid the no, or at least prepare them to help them overcome that, if that makes sense. So does anyone else have anything they want to share about?
I have one more thing.
Oh.
Oh, go ahead. Who's going?
I just wanted to add, like, if you look at the no as the beginning of a relationship instead of the end, because I was just looking, I didn't even know that Katie Lou was asked to join the business before, and then she said no, so the person never followed up with her again, so she joined with Sarah. Like, imagine if the first person that asked her would have continued just building their relationship and was like, oh, that's okay, like, how's your day going? Or I really like your dog is so cute, or just like kept interacting with her and building the relationship. And then every once in a while she would have thrown in the business like, hey, I don't know if you're ready yet, but I still think you'd be great at this business. Katie could have probably joined with the other person if she could have like kept following up. So just look at a no as the beginning of the relationship and keep in contact with that person. We're here to build relationships and friendships with people. And then, you know, that person that you asked is going to be like, oh, she's a real person. She's my friend. She cares about me. And they're going to be more apt to want to join with you. So look at the no as the beginning of a relationship, not the end. It's only no forever if you never talk to them again. Like, so I just wanted to ask that or say that.
So good. Seriously.
Okay, so when I tell my team this all the time, I like preach it. So, but like I always tell them, like, if everybody told you yes, like if you never had any no's, you would literally be like, it would be so boring. I was like, I think it's so funny sometimes some of the like things people tell you. Like I just laugh now. But that's what you can do. But anyways, so we would all be like billionaires, like not even like we would like it would be so boring if every single person was just like, yeah. I mean, it'd be awesome, I guess, in a way, but I always tell everybody that. And I do tell them too, what Tiff said about, you know, how long did it take you? I have a couple of newbies who get frustrated and they're like, I just don't know. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I'm like, well, how long did it take you for you to tell me yes? And another thing to like coincide with that is to stay consistent, whether it's a loyal customer or if it's a distributor, stay consistent in your posting. Because I can't tell you how many people have told me no, and then they see me continuously boosting like my posts from promoting last year or my posts from, you know, like a cleanse post, whatever, product post, and they're like, okay, we gotta talk now. Like, you know, okay, I keep seeing your stuff, like, and then it just kind of clicks. So it goes in saying that a no is never a no. They're still watching you. Like, you're in their head now. You know what I mean? Like, you've literally planted that seed in their head and they're watching you. Your stuff's your stuff's showing up on their feeds, and they're like I said, I can't tell you how many people have come to me now about like the coffee right now because it's BOGO. They're like, okay, like like it's time. Like I keep seeing your posts all the time about this coffee, and stuff like that. So I just had to add that in there.
Can I add one little thing? So kind of like you said, Alyssa, like we pretty much have a rebuttal for every excuse imaginable, like we do. But don't feel like if someone straight up tells you no, don't feel like you can't ask why. Like that's how, I mean, like if I have a new distributor, even like an emerging leader or whoever say, hey, this person just flat out said no, my response back to anyone is going to be, well, why? Like ask them why. And literally that is my response. Can I ask you why? There's nothing wrong with that. That's not rude. But once you know that, then you can rebuttal and you can flip it. You know that it's just a maybe later, because you would be so amazed at how people just say, you know, no, can I ask you why? Maybe they're shy. Oh, well, that's great. Here, let's talk. You know, or maybe they think that their life is busy, or maybe they, you know, don't have the $99 right now. Okay, awesome. When's payday? Like you can really rebuttal anything as long as you know why. So don't feel like you can't ask that simple question, because I know a lot of people think that it's rude to ask, but it's not.
I do that all the time. Like, do you mind if I ask you why? or what your experience was like. Like I always, like if people say they didn't see results with the products or they didn't have success in the business, I always take it a step further. Because if you just let that go, then it shows that you don't believe in the business or the products. So I always ask like, oh, what did you use? Oh, you used Fat Fighters for 3 months and you didn't lose 60 pounds. Like, let's talk about it. There's probably some better options for you. Like, oh, like you never even posted on your page and you like aren't a millionaire, so it's weird. Let's talk about it. So don't be scared to just ask like, oh, like I always say something along the lines of like, well, I hope that your sponsor like walked you through host to post. And I throw out these things that they probably never did as a distributor. And they're like, I don't even know what that stuff is. And it like shows them that they didn't really give the business a fair shot. So even those people, make sure you don't just like let them be no's. But like Tiff said, my goal is always to find out like, are these people like not right now, like I'm too busy, I don't have the money? Is that the kind of no I'm getting? Or are they like not ever, don't ever talk to me again? Like I want to find out what their vibe is so I know, okay, should I follow up with them in like a week or like in a month? So that's why I try to find out the reason that they're saying no. Okay, so I feel like I had one other thing with that I can't, no, we'll skip it. Okay, so we're gonna talk about follow-up really quick. I feel like we just kind of touched on a lot of follow-up tips, but if anyone has anything, I think the question was the wording or the, like when someone leaves you unread as a follow-up, like any advice when it comes to follow-up?
My favorite unread, like if they just left you unread, my favorite one is, I pray this message did not bother you. Super simple. Like you don't have to go into a lengthy detail on your follow-ups, guys. Like short and simple. And I always feel like when I say, I pray this message did not bother you, 90% of the time, I'm then getting a response as to why, like them apologizing as to why they didn't answer my response. And then I can at least go from there. So that's my number one, follow-up there. And then as far as just any other follow-up, normally I will just say, happy Tuesday. I hope you're having a great day. I just wanted you to know I'm sitting at my computer inputting a few people and I wanted to check in. Like super, super short and sweet. Right now with everything going on, I just tell people like at the end of the same thing, hey, I just wanted to check in. Hope you're staying safe. Sending so many prayers to your family. Just wanted you to know I'm inputting a couple customers. Did you want to grab that hair, skin, and nails? So just be you, be personal, grow that relationship with them, because even if she says no, she's probably going to come back and tell me thank you for at least praying for her and sending good vibes with everything going on. So that's my tips.
So good. I like Alyssa's tip in the chat. Well, she shared a message, but you guys, this is how much you have to follow up. She literally has this as a script in her text replacement. And that's only if you send it out a lot. Like that's how much you have to follow up to get people to order the products. Like literally everyone comes from follow-up. You just have to do it. There's no like magical wording that gets people to order, that gets people to stop ignoring you. But I go with Tiff, like I'll say something like, oh my gosh, like the other day I talked on the phone with this lady for like an hour and I hate talking on the phone. Okay. So that was already like, come on lady, order. Then she wanted me to email her instructions for ordering on the website and she didn't. So then I had her number. So I texted her the next day about the Pick 2 promo. Didn't answer. Messaged her on Facebook later that day. Like, I was like, hey, I'm starting to get worried. Like, are you okay? And that was it. And that she finally responded. So I'm like, she wasn't ready to order, but she just wouldn't tell me that she just didn't have the money to spend right then. So just keep in mind, a lot of times when people leave you unread, I find that it's usually a money thing. They didn't change their mind about wanting to lose weight or have better skin or make extra money. They would just rather not tell you, especially if you're just some random stranger on Facebook, that they don't have the $20, $50, $100, whatever it is. So don't write those people off ever. I mean, I can tell you how many, like I have people that I follow up with still that I have to scroll like 5 times to see their last message to me. But I'm like, I know that they're going to come around eventually. So yeah. Any other follow-up tips? I know we've got some really good scripts on the team page and stuff, but
I was gonna say like and this might have kind of already been mentioned, but don't think you're being annoying when you're following up with people, because like Tiff said and everyone else said, everyone's busy a lot of times. Like I do it to my own team. Like I'll open up their message and go to look at it, and then one of my kids has distracted me, and it's an hour later, and I'm like, oh crap! And so I still have to message them. Like, don't ever feel like you're being annoying, because like they said, I get a lot of messages back. Like, for example, this one lady was like, I'm so sorry, I'm busy, I have two 16-year-olds at home and I'm a teacher, so I might not message you back until such and such time. And if she doesn't message me back later at night, I understand that she's busy, and a lot of times they'll message me in the morning. But Fridays too, that's why we call follow-up Fridays. I mean, I don't know how people are getting necessarily paid now just because of everything going on, but Fridays for a lot of people are payday. And just make it sweet. Like, one thing, Tiffany's uses this, I think, in your messages sometimes, and it's something simple like, hey, just checking back in if you have any more questions. I'm actually going to sit down and put some orders in this morning. Do you want me to add you to my list and I can get the order in for you? Sometimes people would rather you just do all the work of putting all their information in than them doing it themselves. So that's why I'm like, do you want my website or do you want me to put the order in for you? And if they say, yeah, I'll put my order in for me, I'm like, all right, give me your info. Boom, they're done. Like that, they're like, okay, cool. She's taking care of it now. I'm good to go. So again, you don't know who you're talking to, so don't assume anything. And I think it's really easy just because we're human. We're like, well, I don't want to be annoying. Be annoying, because you're, for most of the time you're not. But like Alyssa said, you're going to text them 20 times before they answer you back. But that's the whole point. It's the whole point. So
I just wanted to add,
I would
sorry, I just heard
Oh.
Jade Hooper said this thing one time, and she's like, you need customers now, but you need customers 8 months from now. So if people say no, they're going to come around. They always come around. I don't know how many people I've had that I've talked to for like over a year that finally sign up, and they always sign up with big BB orders. So just, don't write people off like everyone's saying. But I just love that. Like, you need customers now, you need customers 8 months from now. Like, they're going to be there eventually.
I love that personally. One little tip that I personally have been having an immense amount of success with is actually following up for whatever reason in the morning seems to be working amazingly for us and our team. Like, following up in the morning from the haps that have been posted the day before, like every single day doing a little follow-up and getting like so many more people signed by that night, like, because I'm able to have the conversation throughout the day versus, so that means waking up earlier, doing it in the morning, getting things done, and committing and being accountable to this business in the morning and at night. And those are like, when you have a lot of kids and you have life and you've got work and things are busy, like having that time in the first part of your day so that everyone that you're talking to is thinking about it throughout your day, you're going to sign more people. It just is proven to be true. And so many people that have shared that with me, and now we're doing it and we're signing people almost every single day now, because they actually are thinking about it. We're able to have that conversation throughout the day, and by night we've got it done, so just gonna throw that little tip in there.
I have one last thing to say too. Hopefully I'm not repeating anything, but like everyone is saying, follow up is super, 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 super important, but don't get so focused on following up with like 10 people that you forget to start new conversations, because they will sign up eventually. But like I said this in the chat, like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Just because you have a distributor or a customer that said they're going to sign up on Friday doesn't mean that's a guaranteed thing. That doesn't mean they will. So you don't want to just like get mad at them when they don't sign up when they said they will and have not planted any new seeds in the meantime. So follow-up is important, but so is messaging, so is posting, and so is adding new people to your network. So it's all like this big circle of life that they all need to coexist together. But I just wanted to add that. Like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like, don't put all of your eggs on this one distributor that said they're going to sign up, because you never know if they actually will or if they'll flake on you.
And I have one more little thing too, it's just kind of like one of my little golden rules that if we are to the point where I give you my website, you're going to get a daily follow-up. Like that's just the point. Like if I'm not inputting you on my end, or you have a shopping cart on your end, you have my website on your end, you're going to get a daily follow-up. I personally, and some other leaders may be cringing, I personally don't believe that you should only follow up once a week. Like that's not enough. So yes, Fridays are religious, like follow up Fridays, all of that stuff, but be in their inbox more than that. I mean, even if you're, happy Wednesday and you don't even mention anything, like, I will go through on Easter and I'll just send all of my people a happy Easter message. So just stuff like that is getting in their inbox without even, and you can count that kind of as a follow-up because you're boosting all of your stuff. I've had so many people, happy birthdays are another one. Just think of little things. Hope you're, I just felt led to shoot you a message and let you know that I'm thinking of you and yours through everything that's going on. Hope you're staying safe. But it's the thought that counts. And so many people will come back to you and go, oh yes. Oh, and I'm sorry, I haven't checked out yet. I got distracted. I'm gonna get that done tonight. But sometimes you don't even have to say it when you're following up, but follow up more than just one time a week. And yeah, that's it.
So good. Yeah, I was going to say exactly what Katie said. Like, so many people, I think, are like, I keep getting no's. Everyone keeps telling me no's. Well, it's the same list of no's over and over. Like, add new people to your list. Like, let those people go. Sometimes giving people just obviously follow up like Tiffany said, but like sometimes when you give people just a little bit of space and you move on, it's like you're in high school and you're moving on to a new person and like they just can't let you go now that you're moving on. So like show people like specifically potential distributors like, hey, like I really wanted to work with you, but if you're not going to come along, I'm going to go work with these new people. They're going to see you continue to progress in the business and move on and sign up new distributors. They're not going to want to miss out. So sometimes the best thing you can do for your potential distributors is not leave them hanging, like continue to follow up with them, but move forward, move on to someone new and they will come and follow. Okay, so we already went over an hour. I don't know how that happened. I'm gonna go through one question that wasn't submitted, but someone asked me on Zoom earlier and I thought it was a good one. And then on Sunday, we'll go over the motivating your team one. So the question kind of was like, someone that's pretty much focusing entirely on Facebook, asking about like Instagram, or should I get on TikTok? And there's like these other things. Do I need to be trying to balance all of these different platforms at once? And I'll give my advice and let everyone else add their 2 cents if they want to. But this is what I told her. Most of your time and energy on the platform where you're making most of your money, finding most of your potentials. Like, for a lot of people, if you're killing it on host to post, it's probably on Facebook, although you can do host to post on Instagram. So like most of your time should be spent on your income producing activities. So if that's Facebook, that should be Facebook. If it's Instagram, if it's TikTok, whatever. But if you want to get on other platforms, if you are already on other platforms, my suggestion is that you spend a tiny bit of your time each day, at least building up your following and keeping a continuous presence on a different platform for a couple of different reasons. But just for a personal example, I was totally like almost entirely focused on Instagram for a while, in like probably for a year. Like I was getting most of my customers there, and then host to post came and like everyone was doing that on Facebook. So I totally shifted over to Facebook, and that's where a lot of my customers come from now. But because of that, I've never let my Instagram fully go. I still spend some time engaging, doing a little bit of following. So that way, if something ever comes to Instagram, like a host to post thing or like whatever, this business goes in phases. There's all sorts of things that have worked for us in the past. If something like killer is working on Instagram, I want to know that I've been at least taking care of that. So my advice specifically to her was like, hey, on Instagram, you can follow people. It takes like 2 minutes. So every day, like you have a bathroom break, you've got like, you wake up in the morning, you can literally go over to Instagram and you can follow like 30 or 40 people in a minute. Okay. So do that. Just do a little bit, but spend most of your time on the platform where you're making most of your money. But that way you've got a following if you at some point need it or want it, it's already there. Same thing with stories. I told her, create all of your stories in Instagram, because you can link your Facebook and Instagram stories. So you're doing double the work. And it's on both platforms. So you're at least staying up to date. Like, don't worry about posting in your feed every day on Instagram. If Instagram's not your focus, like, you don't have to post in your feed every day, but post in your story because you need it on Facebook anyways. And then just follow people every day, even if it's just once a day. Do a little bit here and a little bit there. And we're going to do a training on TikTok for those that want to be involved, but like, master one and just start learning another. Don't like get so evenly dispersed that you're not good at any of them and you're just kind of doing a little bit of everything. I truly believe that you want to master one while you learn the others. I don't know if anyone else wants to share on how they've kind of balanced that, or.
Katie, did you want to go? I'm sorry. I saw you were unmuted.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I was going to say the same exact thing that Alyssa did. So I'm good.
Well, my biggest tip would be, especially like in the TikTok world, if you don't find that you are self-disciplined, don't even open it. If I can be very honest, you have to be self-disciplined on that particular app. It's not that it's any platform is awesome to market on. Like I mean, if you can stand on the top of a mountain and scream and share with everyone about what you have your hands on, you want to do it. So, you know, if you want to broaden your networks, go for it. But make sure, number one, like Alyssa said, you're not going to sit there and get overwhelmed because you're trying to dab so much into so many different things that you're not spending all of your like main income producing time in one platform. I will tell you, with Host to Post being as huge as it is, if you're not dedicating the majority of your time on Facebook, you're missing out. Yes, there's Host to Post on Instagram. It's not the exact same. Host to Post on Facebook is where it's at. That's what you want to make sure you're doing every single day. But like Alyssa said, making sure that you show that daily presence and consistency on other platforms is great too. But TikTok specifically, don't even open it if you're not disciplined. Like, I allow myself, I set a timer on my phone. I'm not creative. I'm not one that's going to sit here and just think of these cute, funny things to say. So I set my timer on my phone for 10 minutes. I allow myself to intentionally scroll for 10 minutes to find sounds that I like. If the sounds like foreign language, the TikTok may not be like where you need to be right now. But I find sounds that makes like that I could recreate, and I save those sounds. That is what I do. And obviously, as I'm doing that, I'm liking and I'm commenting on other people's videos at the same time. But like when my alarm goes off, that's the only scrolling that I was allowed to do during that day, because I promise you're going to get stuck in, like, go down a trail and then you're going to look up and it's going to be hours later. You don't want to do that, so if you're not disciplined, don't even look at that one.
Agreed. TikTok and Facebook and Instagram are very much similar to where if you're posting on Facebook, you can post on Instagram. You're already probably putting stuff in your story, so put it on Instagram so that it links to your Facebook story. Like, those two go hand in hand really for me. I post less on Instagram than I post on Facebook, but still I usually will take like one post from Facebook and put it on my Instagram. TikTok is like just a totally different thing. Like, you can put TikTok videos in your story and you can post them on Facebook, but it's not this, it's just totally different. So I do think there's room for people, the right person that has, you know, can be really self-disciplined for it. I'm not saying that you guys shouldn't, but if you're not into it yet, I would try to wait until we at least do our little training on it. So that way you can really see if it's a platform that you'll benefit from. But I don't think it's ever bad to start expanding a second platform if you don't have one. I went all the way to triple just on Facebook because Instagram didn't exist. And then I added Instagram. So just know, whatever you choose to do, whether it's one or all three or two of them, you've got to learn how to be good at them regardless. Like, I knew that I wasn't going to make 6 figures on Facebook by just like throwing a post up here and there. I knew that I was going to have to become a professional Facebooker and learn all the ins and outs and all the little tricks if I was going to make that kind of money. But just know that, like, whether you're a beginner or you're in the middle somewhere, like, just give yourself a little bit of grace, spend time on the things that make you the most money, and a little bit of time on the other, building up the others. Okay. I think we're good. That's it for tonight. I know it was really long. I hope it was helpful in some way, shape, or form for all of you. And then Sunday night on our huddle at 8:30, we'll go over motivating your team and your distributors. All right. Thanks, guys, for helping out and answering questions. Appreciate it. Have a good night.